Hello everyone and welcome again to the show. Here today we are going to discuss with you what are the top 3 things that you need to consider to design your best year ever. Yeah, this is based on a book that we want to review.
Yeah.
The
book is called Design Your Best Year Ever, a proven formula for achieving big goals, written by the man Darren Hardy.
Yeah, Darren Hardy has had a very great influence in my life. I think he's my mentor. I started following him back in 2015.
Yeah.
And such a great mentor. Thank you, Darren Hardy, for all this. Yeah. So, as we look at this book, there are several things that have come out in terms of designing best year. But I want us to dive straight into it. And the first thing is, you should be able to set goals. Goals are things that you can't get away from if you really want to design a life that is worth living and people are actually looking forward or up to you. So when it comes to goals, according to the book, of course, and other ideas, why is it important to set goals?
I mean, there are many ideas. People say human beings are goal-seeking mechanisms. So one of the reasons we create goals is because, by nature, that's how we are. And somebody says, if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah.
And part of what goals do is enable you to grow from one stage of your life to another. So every time you're evolving. So primarily, I think that's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
The other one I would mention is when you think about it, and I guess I like the way Darren Hardy titled the book, saying designing your best year ever. If you think of building a house, if you think of putting together a table, you first start with designing it.
Right.
And I think life is the only aspect of our being that we never take that intentional approach in determining what we want and taking time to think through it and being deliberate of how we can actually design what we envision. So just the way you might envision to have a mansionette or bungalow or that ranch house that you're thinking of, and you design every single aspect of it, that should be the same thing that you should do about your own life.
And I totally agree. Jim Rohn, who is also mentor to Darren Hardy, and also my mentor, I would say, he says goals are actually the set of the sail. Like, for the ship to be able to move, you need to set the sail.
Right.
If you don't have any sail set, the wind will take you anywhere. But if you set your sails, you know where, now the wind can direct you to go where you want to go. So without goals, you will end up anywhere. But at least with setting up the goals, I think that is a very fundamental thing that comes out in terms of why should we set the goals. Yeah. Out of beside the book, any reason why you think also goals? How comes successful people are the guys who set goals?
Yeah, I like the way Brian Tracy, also a big proponent of the personal development movement and also a well-known resource around sales.
Yeah.
He says goal setting is a master skill for successful people.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to be successful, I think this is one of the things you can model from successful people, which is being more deliberate about your goals, setting them up, writing them down, and following through. I think that's where most of the people do. People do set up resolutions, and I think we'll be discussing as to the reason why most of their resolutions don't stick or how they do their goal setting. Might not be the most effective way. But successful people are very deliberate about this. There are people that take retreats to plan out and design every facet of their lives. And I think this is definitely one thing that we should all emulate.
That is very correct. All successful people set goals. So if you want to be successful, you can start there. Now, there are some guidelines on how to set up these goals. And I think also Darren takes a good look at what are the guidelines to follow in the book. Would you mind sharing with the audience also, what are these guidelines when it comes to designing your best year ever? I think this is the second thing that is very important.
Yes.
The first one we've talked about, you need to set goals and understand why to set goals.
Yes.
And the second bit is guidelines.
Guidelines.
Tell us about these guidelines.
So I think, Sam, and we've discussed this in various other forums, is don't just think about it. He says, don't think about it, ink it. That is, write it down.
Yeah.
Anything that you desire, please write it down. And be very specific. I think one thing that I have learned from rich people is they're very specific about their goals. They don't say, oh, I just want to be a millionaire, or I just want to have a new car next year. It will be, they will actually put out, if it's somebody is looking forward to getting a new car, they'll say the color, they'll put out the model, they'll put out the specification of that color, of that car. They will literally paint a picture for you for what they are looking to achieve or have as part of their goals for the next year, or for whatever period they might be looking forward to. Okay. So one of the things is
ink it. You need to write it down. And I think I have learned, even from a psychological point of view, writing down a goal has a much bigger impact rather than just typing it. You know, some people think that since I've typed it on my phone or my laptop, that I've wrote it down. Yeah, to some extent, yes, but there is a psychological connection between how you write things down. The way you write an A on paper is not the same way as you type an A. There is no difference between how you type an A and a B. It's just a matter of pressing, but how you write it down is different. And psychologically, you are committing to succeed. You're committing to achieve that goal. So, very important, ink it down.
Ink it down.
Another guideline.
So the other thing that he talks about is think big.
Right.
You know, write down those big, hairy, audacious goals.
Right.
I think this is one thing that this year I have, from all the books that I have read, this has been a running theme across all of them. Many a times you're told, be realistic about your goals. And probably, so I like the way somebody did it. When you're writing your goals, be bold enough. They even say you can suspend reality.
Right.
So put that dream, put that goal that you desire. But now when you become in terms of where do you begin, that's where you can now apply the aspect of being more realistic. Yeah. Because as much as you're looking to have a Pan-African business that is multi-million-dollar business, and all you have is a simple laptop and your idea, you start with that. But that does not mean your goal is not achievable. You start with that and you build on it. So the aspect of being realistic will come down to what actions can you build on starting now towards your big audacious goal. So think big, have big, hairy, audacious goals.
Yeah.
Suspend reality as much as you can. But then when you begin the action part of it is where you can then just come down on earth and then work towards that.
And I think Grant Cardone in his book 10X, the 10X rule, I think he talks about you need to dream big, have that 10 times bigger dream, because even if you fall short out of this big dream, you will feel more satisfied. He gives an example. Right. If you target, I want to earn or I want to save $1 million, and you fall short of it and only get 10%, you will end up with 100,000. Right. But what if you went big and say, I want to get 10 million, and you fall short on that and get 10% of it, which will be $1 million? Which one makes you feel better? I think when you fall short on a bigger dream is way better than falling short on a small dream. And that idea of being realistic is from just to serve the fact that after all, I won't achieve this goal. So you're just trying to tell yourself things why you don't want to set a big goal, because you won't achieve it. But I would advise you, go for that big goal. It feels much, much, much better falling short on a big goal.
That was one goal.
Yeah.
And I'll probably maybe add on to that. And he also indicates, that's one of the guidelines. He says, make sure your goals are your goals.
Yeah.
I think many a times the reason why we might scale down on our goals is because we are trying to imagine how do we look before the other people.
Right.
You know, people mostly will scale down because they would think they would appear maybe too ambitious, too dreamy.
Yeah.
If they share that with a friend or a family member, who might think, oh, you're talking of starting a who in your family, who in your neighborhood, who in your community has ever done such a thing? Right. And that's the thing with goals. You're always not going to do what has been done. You will do something new and big and great.
Set your own goals, not the society's goals, not your family goals. Go for your own goals, and you will be surprised how easy it will be to achieve your own goal rather than trying to gauge yourself up with the society. Correct. Right?
Correct.
Now, the third thing, because we want to make it very actionable. So there is first thing, you need to be able to set goals, and number two, we have talked about some of the guidelines in setting goals. What is this third thing that we should be able to consider for us to be able to design the best year ever?
I think one thing that I noticed, which actually is not addressed in a lot of goal setting books.
Yeah.
I think my previous interview that we did on the book, The Best Year Ever, I said it was the best goal setting book that I've ever read.
Yeah.
But when I came across Darren Hardy, I would say he has actually brought some very powerful ideas. All the same, they're all great books, and you can combine the great ideas that each of those books brings.
Yeah.
Darren Hardy has a chapter called The Magic Factor.
Okay.
And what he says is that he gives the example of, let's say for example, you won the lottery. And I think we've seen a lot of people that have won the lottery. What ends up happening is they end up losing all that money that they had and going back to be poor people. Mm-hmm. And why is it that happens? So he says goals are not just for what you will achieve or what you will have. The bottom line is what goals will make of you. So actually the main premise of goals is actually working on you as a person, and not really the effects that you will create. Because one, if you don't have a good money mindset, that's why you end up seeing those people who probably get a windfall or win the lottery. Just give them a few more months or years, they'll be back to be poor people. It's because they didn't work on that aspect, the mind, and who they became after that.
I think that is quite a magic factor. Mm-hmm. It's not about what you get, it's not about what you achieve, it's all about who do you become. And I think it is also other books or have a lot of interaction with you. They say you attract the kind of goals based on who you are. So instead of thinking about, I want to get this kind of job, are you attractable to that job? Who do you need to become to be able to attract that kind of a job? So you think about it, who do you become? Also another piece of advice, I think I've gotten it from different areas, even Jim Rohn says, when you go to a job, don't focus much about what you do at the job. Who do you become for that kind of a job? Because another aspect would be, if you are dealing with crooks and you end up learning how to make money through crooked ways, who do you become? Probably a rich crook person, which it's not a good premise, it's not a good reputation. But if you learn how to make a lot of money through hard work and genuine ways, that is a much better way of who you become, rather than what you get. It's not just about the money and the cars and the houses.
And how do you action all this? I think that the question of who you become can seem a bit more very abstract.
Okay.
But there are some questions that he has put forward that can help you think through this process.
Take us through that.
And he says, you should ask yourself, who do I have to become to achieve this? What kind of thoughts, feelings, actions should I have? So as you are giving an example of, you're probably an assistant somewhere, you're looking to become a project manager. What kind of attributes does a project manager have? They're probably more time conscious. They're probably very productive people. Right. So they focus and concentrate on the work at hand and don't get distracted in other frivolous things. So ask yourself, who do I need to become? And probably what can help you through this process is look at people that are at that level, and you can begin modeling the attributes that they have as human beings. What actions do I need to take as this kind of person? What thoughts do I need to have? Probably the successful people are very driven. They're very decisive in the way they do their things. They're very action and results oriented. So it's not just a question of being busy, but what are you producing? So those kind of things. So those can help you actualize that aspect of that magic factor that he calls who you become.
Who you become. I think also to some kind of perspective, it talks about mentoring and also allow yourself to be mentored by someone. Right. When you're looking up to someone who has done what you want to do, even if you're not directly talking to these people, but when you look at their life, when you read their books, when you follow their blogs, when you follow their podcasts and listen to the kind of stuff they say, I think you are trying to look at who they are, what do they do as people who are in that position, who have achieved what you're looking for, right?
Correct.
Yes. So some actually has something to do apprenticeship, studying these people, and then understanding who you need to become. So any other maybe bonuses in terms of how to design the best year ever? I think we talked about tracking as one of the key things that can assist you as a bonus. What is this tracking business, and what role does tracking do in the goal setting and achievement?
So tracking is good, and I would like you to share about the tool that you I think there's a very important tool that you put together in your book.
Yes.
But I look at tracking as a way to measure your progress.
Yeah.
So and that's why goals have to be very specific.
Right.
So if you're saying you want by the end of the year to earn 1 million Kenya shillings, or you want to have reduced your weight to a certain level, what is your weight now? And then what are the actions plans that you will do to reduce your weight,
right,
so that you're more fit? So you take sort of a baseline of where you are now, and then over a period, by the time, because again, the other thing about goals is they also have to be time bound. If you're said by the first quarter of 2020 you should have reduced this much, or you should have made this much, you can then be able to track based on the actions that you're taking and what those actions are producing. Darren Hardy actually has a framework that he has written called the Plan, Do, Review, which is a very iterative process. That is, you action, you plan, and then you action, and then you review.
Right.
And the idea is to be making corrective actions or pivoting as you progress towards your goal. Don't be stuck with your strategy. If your strategy was you'll be doing dieting and running, and that is not producing what you're expecting, maybe you need to add another element to that. Or you need to look at maybe the dieting approach you've taken might not be the correct one. So what tracking does is to measure your progress. What tracking does also is to help you be able to effect any changes, course correction along the process. And it's a good way, I think, if you hit a milestone, it's a good point for you to celebrate.
Right.
When you hit that.
I think that is a bonus, celebrating the small wins that you get along. But I want to take this moment, you have mentioned about the tracking tool that I have. I think I'll share it in the description of this video. I call it the Goal Tracking and Achievement System. So it's basically a free worksheet that I'm going to share with you, which you can use it weekly. And this is how it works. It has a column where you put in what is the goal that you want to achieve. And in that goal, under that goal, you can list down what are the actions, what are the activity, what are the kind of behavior that you need to get to achieve them. Let's use the example of someone wants to lose weight, or they want to be healthy, or maybe say by March 31st, I want to be 55 kgs. So that is the goal, very specific. There's the time bound and what you want to achieve. So what are some of the actions that you're going to do? So under that goal, the action would be, I will be running, I will be going to the gym, I will be eating healthy foods. So there are different things that you can put. On one end, there is now the column where you have target. So because it's a weekly kind of tracking worksheet, so you say if my action is to run, if my action is to go to the gym, at the end of the week, how much do I want to, what is my target? It can be in terms of time. So I want to go to the gym at least 1 hour this week. I want to run 5 kilometers or walk. There are targets. Then during the week, you just go on and tick and say, for example, on Monday, my action was to go to the gym. No, I didn't go to the gym. Tuesday, I went to the gym for 30 minutes. I can record that. Wednesday, I didn't go. Thursday, it was a good day. I spent there 1 hour and all that. So you're just tracking every day what you did. Then next to the target, you have the total. So at the end of the week, you tally all the total based on your action, and you can see, based on my action, did I exceed? Yes, I wanted to go to the gym 1 hour per day for this week, but I went 1.5. So probably your target for next week would be, maybe how about I say 2 hours. Sometimes you realize that you fall below your target. Then that is again time to review and see, probably I overestimated. I wanted to run 5 kilometers, but this was a crazy week. I only was able to do 2 kilometers. So next week, based on my schedule, can I still do 5 or go to 2? So it's a simple worksheet that you can do to track your actions that are helping you achieve your goal, and you can do it weekly. At the end of the year, when you say you have your 52 tracking sheet, you can easily say, this is how much I've done and this is how close I'm getting to my goal. So check the description for the free goal tracking and achievement system, which I'll be sharing free of charge. Download it, print it out, and use it as many times as possible. And I would like to get your feedback. If you have used it before, has it helped you? How has it helped you achieve your targets? So leave a comment also below in this description. Anything you'd like to add as we summarize today's session?
I think I'll mention 2 things.
Yeah.
One, the book has a ton of tools that you can use.
Okay.
I think in addition to the tracking tool that Daniel had mentioned, get a hold of the book to be able to make use, because it's actually a very exercise, it's like a workbook. You read a bit of the content, and then right after, there's an exercise that you take. And I like these kind of books because they help you immediately implement the ideas that are mentioned here.
Okay.
The other thing I would mention, which I'm looking forward to implementing this year as I set my goals to the year 2020, is this idea of a vision board.
Okay.
I have had a lot of the successful people mention that they all have vision boards. And vision boards are basically, you can take a cardboard paper and stick it with images of what you seek to achieve in probably a year's time or 5 years' time, whatever your time frame is. Mm-hmm. So people like put out, could be that nice car that you're looking to buy. It could be that kind of lifestyle that you're looking to have. It could be that house that you're looking to have. I don't know what you'd mention, also add in terms of what vision boards enable you to do.
I think vision boards are very important. I have used one before, and I think it doesn't necessarily need to be, if you have a board where you can put pictures that helps you visualize and see where you're going, that would be a good thing. But there are some other subtle ways that you can have kind of a vision board. Like on your computer, what is your desktop? Is it something that you want to achieve? Like mine is a Range Rover. I would want to have a Range Rover Sport. That is my dream car. Yeah.
Yes.
On your phone, what is your screensaver?
Yeah.
Something of that sort. It helps you, especially if it is somewhere that you can be able to see it day in, day out. One time in my bedroom, I had the list of the 10 top the rich people, the most successful people. And in that list, I would see there were actually 4 people who are very successful among the top 10 richest people, and they were in the IT sector. And that really used to inspire me. There was Jeff Bezos, there was Bill Gates, there was Facebook guy, that is Mark Zuckerberg.
Steve Jobs.
I think there was another one, not Steve Jobs,
okay.
But there were 4. So that would really fuel me. So something that is visual, you can easily see it, can really help you go for your goals. So it really plays a big part.
Yeah, the idea is to add emotion.
Yes.
To your goals.
Yeah.
And that gives you sort of the fuel.
Yeah.
To go out there and hustle and work towards your goal.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, as soon as you write your goals at the start of the year, you don't just leave it that. So I think one thing also that the tracking goals does is just to keep them front and center so that you're reviewing them on a day-to-day basis. And that's the thing, don't forget about it.
Actually, to add on to that, one of the key reasons why people don't achieve their goals is that they set it most of the time at the beginning of the year. And I can assure that the next time they take a look at it is December, when they're like, this is what I wanted to achieve. Have I achieved it? So your goals should be somewhere you are able to see them day in, day out, to remind you, this is what I'm working towards. Not just setting goals and then looking at them 3 months down the line. It doesn't work. It needs to be somewhere you can see them day in, day out, and actually try even align your actions, your daily activity. Like today, what am I doing to achieve this goal that I set out for? Anything else that you'd like to add?
I think that's it. All I would do is encourage you guys to get a hold of this book. It has 7, actually it puts them as 7.5. There's a half step that he mentions that you can take towards working, towards achieving your goals. So get a hold of the book and definitely make use of it.
So there we are, the 3 most important things to consider for you to design your best year ever. I think we have even done more than 3.
We've done more than 3.
Yeah, that is great. We are here to over-deliver on what we promised. So thank you very much for staying with us. I would just want to request, please like this video, leave a comment, let us know where you're watching us from, how much value you've gotten from this video. Subscribe to my channel, Daniel Mutuku, and also remember to press the bell button so that you can get notification each and every time we upload a new video. Otherwise, thank you very much, really appreciate it, right?
Great.
We are out.